So, I want you to think about this for a second. How can a man who survived the absolute horror of Auschwitz, a man who had literally everything stolen from him, call himself the happiest man on earth? It sounds impossible, right? It's a huge contradiction. And today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of Eddie Jaku to try and understand how he found so much joy after living through unimaginable darkness.
In those words, that's Eddie himself, pretty much inviting us on his journey. You can already tell this isn't just going to be a story about survival. It's a story about transformation. He's promising to show us the exact path he took, from the absolute depths of hell to a life filled with genuine, profound happiness.
All right, so to really get the man he became, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to see the world he came from, a world that felt safe and stable and just full of promise. I mean, this really tells you everything about his early identity, doesn't it? He grew up in Leipzig, a city known for its art and music and culture. And his family, they were so proud to be German. His dad fought for Germany in World War I. Their loyalty, their identity, it was German. That came first. And this right here, this was the foundation of his entire childhood. His dad drilled this into him. This was their core value, a philosophy that, well, it was about to be tested in the most extreme ways you can imagine. But ultimately, it became his guiding light. This idea is absolutely crucial to the rest of his story. But that world, the one built on kindness and family values, it was about to be completely, violently shattered. And when things turned, they turned terrifyingly fast. I mean, look at this timeline. In just 5 years, everything was gone. 1933, anti-Semitism becomes official policy. But by 1938, on Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, the hate just spills into the streets. And get this, it wasn't just soldiers. It was his neighbors, people he knew his whole life, who came and destroyed his home. And just like that, he's beaten, arrested, and sent to his first concentration camp. And you have to understand, this wasn't random. This was a cold, deliberate process. The whole point of the camps wasn't just to imprison people. It was to dehumanize them, to erase every single thing that made you, you. The goal was to break your spirit long before they broke your body. They took his name, his clothes, family photos, every little thing. And just like that, he wasn't Eddie Jaku anymore. He was a number, 172338. That's what they tattooed on his arm at Auschwitz. This number became his name. It was a permanent, brutal symbol of how he'd been reduced from a human being to just an object in a massive killing machine. So the question then becomes, how on earth does anyone survive that? We're about to go into the heart of his ordeal, but we're really going to focus on those little glimmers of light, the things that kept him alive against all odds. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Auschwitz was literally a death factory. It was designed for extermination. So what was the difference? What separated the very few who made it out alive from the millions who didn't? For Eddie, it came down to a few key things. These were his lifelines. These 4 things were his anchors in a world of total chaos. His education, that made him useful. His friendship, that gave him a reason to wake up. Hope was his daily act of defiance. And his resilience, his sheer amazement at what the human body could endure, that just kept him going one more day. And here's the most brutal irony. The very education that his father had insisted on, the reason he was sent away to study engineering, was the same reason the Nazis themselves decided he was economically indispensable. His skills literally made him too valuable to kill, at least for a while. But honestly, more than any skill, this was it. This was his true anchor: friendship. He and his friend Kurt, they just looked out for each other. They'd share tiny scraps of food, protect one another. Eddie talks about a time he wanted to give up, to just walk into the electric fence, and Kurt wouldn't let him. That human connection, it was the most powerful medicine in a place that had no humanity left. And that friendship, it literally carried him through to the end of the war. So let's see what happens next. How do you even begin to step out of that kind of darkness and build a new life? This is what he looked like at liberation, 28 kilograms. That's about 62 pounds. Just try to picture that. He was starving, sick with both cholera and typhoid. He was barely alive, literally crawling, when he saw an American tank. He was saved, yes, but he was a ghost of a man. And right there, lying in a hospital bed, being told he only had about a 35% chance of survival, he made a choice. He made this promise. This was the moment he decided his future. He wasn't going to be defined by the hate he'd endured. No. He would dedicate his life to kindness, to happiness, to honoring the millions who couldn't be there to make that same promise. And look at this. This is what that promise looks like in real life. After the war, he moved to Australia. He and his wife, Flor, they worked day and night, building the service station from absolutely nothing. This photo just radiates resilience. It's the start of a whole new chapter.
But for all the success, this was the moment. This was what truly healed him and fulfilled that promise he made to himself, the birth of his first son, Michael. He said that in that one moment, holding his son, his heart was healed and all his happiness came rushing back. It was proof. Proof that love really does triumph over hate and that life can and will begin again.
So for the rest of his life, for over 70 years, he made it his mission to share that message, to turn his unimaginable experience into a lesson for all of us.
And you gotta wonder, right? I mean, after decades of rebuilding your life, of finding happiness, why would you choose to go back there? Why would you talk about that trauma publicly? Why not just lock it away and leave it in the past?
And his answer? Well, it changes everything. He realized his story wasn't just about the suffering. It was about the power of hope and friendship and kindness. He chose to speak not to make us feel his pain, but to inspire us with his hope. And he basically boiled his entire incredible life philosophy down to these 3 simple, powerful lessons. Hug your mother. He'd always ask kids if they told their mothers they loved them, reminding them of the gift he lost forever. Be a friend, because he knew firsthand that a good friend can actually save your life. And maybe most important of all, choose to be happy. Recognize that it's a conscious decision you can make every single day, no matter what.
And he didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. For decades, he volunteered at the Sydney Jewish Museum. His TEDx talk has been seen by millions of people all over the world. He truly made it his life's mission to educate a new generation, to make sure we never forget. And this, right here, is the final, urgent warning he leaves us with. Eddie Jaku saw what happens when the disease of hate is allowed to spread unchecked. He survived it, and he spent the rest of his long life showing us the antidote: friendship, kindness, and the defiant, powerful choice to be happy. What a legacy.